Um, for a long time, my seeking of knowledge was all, technical, like um, career as a lawyer, now trainer, like it was all knowledge applicable in this world. I guess what I started to, I was raised a Catholic. That was my religion. Didn't even came to my head to question it. I certainly knew that I didn't believe that much about it. Like since probably 12, 13 years old, I felt attracted to church. My parents didn't try to take me there often either. So I was raised Catholic in theory, but no culture around it.
Right.
So when my parents passed away, that was 6 years ago.
Both your parents passed away 6 years ago?
Yeah, with 6 months apart.
Wow.
My mom was from cancer, breast cancer that went all around the body. Colon was the one who took her. And my dad was, he died from HIV. He was an alcoholic, gambling addict, very wild life. But the death of my father was expected. That's what I want to go to with this. He was already with HIV. He was deteriorating quickly, and he's the one who died first. What was baffling was my mom, 6 months after. And actually, in the final days of my father, she was already expressing pain in the hips. And, when my father passed away, a couple of weeks went by, the pain was still there. We went to the doctor, and it was a metastasis from the cancer that it was already all spread out. And from that point to the moment she was gone was just 3 months.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did she have any signs of cancer before your dad died? Or was it just...
No, that was the first symptom, the metastasis in the bone. Because it was, all the other ones were spreading in places that you don't feel pain, like brain, colon, liver, like she wasn't feeling anything on there. And also the metastases were starting to grow in that moment. Like in that moment it was already all around, but just the beginning.
So when those deaths, is that when you started the spiritual journey?
Well, I spent 5 years absolutely denying everything. Like, I was an atheist. Like, not only an atheist, I had resentment towards it. Yeah, I was angry about it. So I was not only giving my back to God, I was constantly and consciously rejecting Him. So, that took me even further away of any interest of, learning absolutely anything religious at all.
So you were like a super atheist, not that you didn't believe, but you cursed his existence if he did exist.
Sort of, yeah.
I know. And then what kind of life did you have like during that time? Were you going to school? What were you doing? I know your background is in fitness, right?
In here in this country. Back in Venezuela, I'm a lawyer, and I used to be a businessman back then. I owned restaurants, shares in plastic surgery clinics. I used to import furniture to the country. Like, professionally speaking, I've always done well. Regardless of depressions or any other emotion that I was dealing with, I was, very capable of keeping them in a box and just do what I had to do.
So when you came here, were you guys successful too?
Well, no, of course it took some time. I arrived here and with the question to myself, like, okay, try to go back to school and be a lawyer here. I wasn't even being a lawyer in Venezuela. It was just like asking myself, what job can I do here? What can I do to earn some money? Evidently, the idea to go to school represented too much time, too much money, and I didn't have any of that. Like, I came here with $3,000 only. So, yeah, and after renting a room, getting a shitty car, I was left only with $700 for, to make a paycheck as soon as possible. So, going to study wasn't an option. And back in Venezuela, I was already into fitness. I was already, enjoying the gym a lot, like dating fitness girls and all that. So I said, okay, maybe I can become a personal trainer here and, start making a living out of that, and then we'll see. While I got certified, I work in South Beach as a security guard, illegal, so I was underpaid. I work also illegally in restaurants, kitchens, here and there, personal bodyguard. For a hot second, I had 3 jobs in,
same time
on a daily. Yeah, sleeping 2 hours a day.
So what was your mental status at that point? So you
none.
came from none?
None. Just execute. No, don't be poor. Don't be poor.
Did you blame God for your situation at that point too, or was it just acceptance and move forward?
In that point, I had no energy to ask no questions. It was all work my ass off. That's all. And I guess that's why it got me some success, because whether I liked it or not, it anchored me in that present moment. It was the only options.
So then, okay, so you're in Miami, you're starting to make some traction again. At this point here, are you starting to think about the spiritual yet, or not yet?
Oh yeah, well, today, yeah, that's what we're doing here in the camera, right?
So, what moment specifically made you start looking into the spiritual? What was the exact moment where something changed and you said, okay, let me figure this out?
Well, I want to say it happened accidentally. It was the birthday of a very close friend of ours, a photographer, Mike Orangutan. Yeah, I'm telling the world that you do drugs, so there's that. And the party was a shroom get together, whatever. He called also, hey guys, come to my birthday, we're gonna do some shrooms, it's gonna be great. Okay. I didn't do any research, I didn't do absolutely anything. In my head, I thought the shrooms were going to be like a weird animal and some things were going to move around. That was the only thing I thought.
So what happened?
Fuck my life, I was wrong. So wrong.
Okay, but for us who don't know anything about it, what is a shroom? It's like a mushroom, right?
It's a mushroom, a dried out mushroom that tastes like dirt, like that grows from the shit of a cow, and you're going to taste that. Okay. It's gonna be bitter and earthy and disgusting. However, you can swallow water like a pill, grind it and put it in a capsule. Like there's ways to not taste the disgustingness of the shroom. Because I know that's a lot of a barrier for people, that since from back then to now, I've heard a lot like, oh no, I can't do it because they taste so bad. Come on. Anyway.
So what happened?
Well, half an hour after, 45 minutes after, I start seeing my skin, the hairs of my skin growing rapidly, and going back, going back. Then I start getting old and young again, and the same with everybody around. Valentina was getting super old and super young again, super old again, and immediately I got overwhelmed by what was happening. I started repeating out loud, I wasn't ready for this, I wasn't ready for this, I wasn't ready for this. But eventually I got over it, I'm gonna say that part, like fighting what was happening, lasted like about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Eventually, I got over it. Like, fuck my life. Like, I'm already in this, surrender. And that's when the magic started to happen. Everything started to get extremely beautiful around. The nature looked like Pandora from Avatar. Like, everything was brighter. Valentina was an angel. And the more I start accepting what's happening in the trip, the more beautiful everything is getting. And then, well, I started experiencing my first ego death.
What's an ego death?
Let's call it the user interface of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
The forefront of your brain, what interacts first with the world, what, your storyteller, the first and primary voice in your head narrating your life, what makes you understand reality as you understand it. Well, it gets turned off and you get with the subconscious, completely alone and awake in the subconscious. You can call it like you leave the veil of reality, because with the system turned off of what you understand as shapes, forms, colors, time, space gets gone. Well, that's a hard question what you're seeing there. You're certainly not seeing reality as you perceive it. But when that system starts going off, I started feeling like melting, like an energy of a very, very high and increasing energy. I'm gonna say like white light. It feels purifying, blissful. And the feeling gets stronger, 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 to the point that you are not listening to yourself anymore. You reach nirvana, you reach, absolute oneness with the universe. And in that point, I started crying uncontrollably,
About what?
Happiness, joy. Like, I guess, imagine being in love, multiply it by a million. Probably you're still not close to it.
How long was the trip? That first
5 to 6 hours.
5 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Did you realize it was that long?
Well, no, when I came off, like, wow, it was long. But inside of it, that part of the ego death, it lasted for, inside the trip for me, a lifetime. I was in heaven, like there was no time, no nothing. I was in heaven, like, and I was screaming like crazy to Valentina, we made it, because I thought we died, like the shroom killed us, and somehow we were good people and we deserved to be in heaven. I was very happy about it.
That's insane.
Considering the life I was having. I was like, fuck, I still got to be in heaven. Jesus, like, there's a really bad people there out there because they accepted me.
So you're in the trip, you're in heaven, you come down. What was the coming down process?
Well, that's another part that I also started to spark my interest in psychedelics. When I'm coming back to, myself, I remember that I felt my mind like an hotel room, not like an hotel hallway with a bunch of doors, and I walked that hallway, opened a door, and it was my relationship with my mother, and I started crying like crazy, and when I'm done crying, I felt like I had already moved on from her death. Then, like, when I felt that I was done, moved on, in peace with it, I walk away, close the door, kept walking the hallway, open another, and it was my relationship with my father. And I cried more, and I got angry, and I, violently punched the grass of the, earth, and, I'm having a fight with, nothing. But when I released all the rage and anger, stood up, left the room, closed, and the trauma was gone. The anger was gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And, the trip ends funny thing about the ego death part. When I was coming down, I started questioning that are we really dead or are we alive? Are we really dead or are we alive? So I was struggling with that question. So I decided that the best way to know if I was alive, it was peeing my pants. And I peed my pants.
You never told me that. Tell me that story.
And when I felt that hot, warm pee coming down, I was like, oh, I'm alive. That's great.
Oh my god. Alright, so that's very interesting. So that was your first time ever experimenting with psychedelics.
Yes.
And it was a very imperfect, it's a very non-professional setting where you do that.
Yeah, completely off guard. But I also think, these I know now after a few more experiencing and studying. Like the whole key of consuming a psychedelic, especially for therapeutical ways, it's surrendering to the experience. Like if you go with extreme expectation, you're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because your ego is gonna fight to the death to stay alive, to see that experience that you are wanting to have.
Mm-hmm.
So going with a lot of expectation, it's really wrong. That happened in my first ayahuasca, that I got basically nothing out of it. But I did that, we will get to it later. So too much expectation fucks it up. The set and setting, absolutely. Like if you take it in I'm sure in a festival and stuff like that, it's gonna be way different. But we didn't. We took it in a very close, loving group.
You think it would have been different if you were by yourself? That first time?
Probably I would have gotten more out of it. Because I did got distracted a lot, like, worshipping Valentina Angel. I got distracted in the tattoos of a friend, like, I don't know, a strong amount of time went by and I was just staring at the tattoos moving. Probably I would have stayed focused on the things that truly matter.
Gotcha. And after that first experience, what was the next time you tried psychedelics? Not necessarily mushrooms, but anything else?
The next time was ayahuasca, and it was probably 6 months after.
What made you want to do ayahuasca?
Well, because I started doing research when I came back from the first trip. I threw myself in YouTube, literature, first YouTube. In YouTube they were mentioning Dennis McKenna, Terence McKenna, and all, the bigger names in the psychedelic community. And I started I went to research about those guys, read their papers, read the research, and I got fascinated.
What did you find?
All the applications in therapy, all the connections to God, the usage, the historical use of those plants in our society. I got so fascinated with the history of usage of plant medicine and how, strongly related are to God. That started to, bring back to life in me my belief in God.
Really?
Yes.
That first trip or that research?
No, the research. The first trip made me feel it. The research made me believe it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that led you to wanting to do ayahuasca?
Yes, correct.
So what is ayahuasca? For us who don't know anything, what is ayahuasca?
It's the mix of two plants, of two roots. They make a beverage out of it, and voila.
And you just drink it?
It's an orally active DMT.
What is DMT?
It's a mutation in the melatonin. It's the most powerful psychedelic known to man. That's why I wanted to try it, because I said, I did psilocybin. There's one shit stronger than that. Let's go for it. That's what made me. And basically for that egotistical, ridiculous mindset, probably is why the first time didn't. happen much.
What did you expect to happen the first time? Like, what is going into it? Did you have to prepare?
Yes, I became vegan for a month, and I fasted 3 days before it.
Just to have the effects hit you more.
Yes, that's what is being said all around. That the cleaner the system, the better result you get, and if you can fast, it's even better. I did everything, but my expectations were too high that I never let go. The shaman was in front of me, like, relax, like, meditate, stay calm, and it was impossible for me to stay calm.
So what happened?
My expectations.
So the process was, you were there for how long? The first time?
The whole night. And I took 7 shots. The shaman told me I never given this much to anybody. Like, I was also at 256 pounds of muscle, Not that I made that much smaller now, but it was in the peak of the bodybuilding time.
Were you disappointed that you didn't see anything?
Yes, but the only thing that I got in my head, it was, you have to clean your body. And it was talking about anabolic steroids. Like, that was the only thing I got. You can't come with that here. All the chemicals that were running in my body. So it took me some time to really narrow down the message to that. Like, oh, this is what it was talking about. That was the only thing I had. Like, that repetitive message in my head. That's all. That was the only thing for my first experience. So, of course, I was disappointing. Like, I came from the shrooms that gave me that much to only getting that in one.
Oh.
Later, you learn that these plants don't give you the trip you want, and they give you the one you need.
Interesting. And so you went back to try it again, right?
Yeah.
How long between the first and second time was it?
Oh, 2 weeks.
Okay, so you went back the second time. Did you experience anything that time?
Yeah, in that one I experienced visuals. I experienced it all, but I didn't experience the joy with God.
Well, explain what you did experience. You said visuals. What visuals?
The clouds were spiraling in incredible shapes and forms. In a mirror, I saw like a gazillion of Luises, all slightly different. And I got like, oh, I'm looking at the multiverse. That's what I thought in that moment. And every Luis was moving in a slightly different way than I was moving, and it was freaky as hell. Because in some mirrors there was fatter Luises, more in shape Luises. Like, it was crazy.
What else did you see?
No, I didn't get stuck there too much. I was like, no, I'm not gonna detail all of you, and I left. In that one, the biggest message was about gratitude. It showed me, what's two? First, it took me in a HD movie of my life, and it took me to the root of my violence and rage and anger. It showed me a moment that I was getting back from school to my house, crying because the kids beat me up, and my mom, helped me and told me, like, if you come here once again like that, I'm gonna beat you up harder than the kids for you to learn how to be a man. You next time beat them up or don't come. And I was like, okay, and that was my first encounter with rage, violence, frustration, and that's where it began. Those emotions are like a seed that gets planted. As soon as when it gets planted, it starts growing and growing and growing. But it also showed me, like, now that you understand where it came from, you have the power to take that out. And that's what it is. It showed me a lot more events, but also gave me the possibility to see them in a very impartial way. So I was able to understand why my mom was being like that, why my dad was like that. Like, at the end of the day, they did the best they could with the information they had. Nobody intentionally says to themselves, I want to raise a shitty kid. You know?
Would you consider yourself a shitty kid?
No, but I did consider that my brother was shitty. And at the end of the day, they did the best they could.
So at this point, you just finished your second trip with ayahuasca. Are you full on psychedelic board? Is your mindset completely different now? Is it?
Well, now after this third one of
ayahuasca. To the third one, yeah, the second one.
In the second one, yeah, I'm already a believer. Like, I know, okay, there's a lot of teachings here. And I went into reading more books, and I started to see, like all the CEOs of Silicon Valley, they use it. I started to see like so many people and so many creative, successful people use them. Because I guess in that part I understood, like, once you heal from your traumas, you can get access to different places of your mind to work with them. That was even more fascinating to me. Like, oh, once I'm done with my shit, I'm gonna get access to basically boosting my capability of learning and understanding. That sounds very attractive to me.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then, has there been any changes in your lifestyle since the second trip? Before the first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what?
Like
in yourself. In yourself and your day to day.
It's not, they don't give you like, a step-by-step thing to do with your message. Basically, they give you like a very soft push, and so the events start unfolding, and once it gets to like full circle, that teaching was like, that was the thing that I was feeling in the trip. That was the thing that I felt. Like, now it makes sense. But it's not like they're gonna, come and whisper in your ear, like, you have to change career, stop doing steroids. Like, no, it's not gonna be so bluntly in your face. You have to work with them. But it happened to me when I left for good my attachment to, resistance training. Like, it was the only thing that I was able to see as a form of fitness. And also when I realized that for 12 years, the angry Luis, the, atheist Luis, was only recycling anger in the gym. And I was able to let go, when I got able to let go that identity, it was also like, wow. You get closer to your true self, it helps you peel layers of your ego that you have been building it since day one. And since day one to now, you have been, building personalities, identities, characters that have nothing to do with who you really are. Half of those identities, it was your parents doing things to you that they thought it was right. Like, for example, in Venezuela, my kid needs to play baseball. That's like, what the fuck?
I hate baseball.
Yeah, I kind of like it, but they didn't choose that shit.
So, what do you consider? And I don't want to get too deep into this. I know we're going to get deeper into it for the third session. But do you consider anger to be the first layer that you peeled off?
Yeah. The mischanneled, misdirected aggression and intensity. I'm always going to be an intense guy, and I'm always going to be aggressive. But now I get to choose towards what I point my intensity and aggression. And by aggression, I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about pursuing my goals in the predator mindset.
Right. You had mentioned beforehand something important, gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How has that changed your perspective of the world now? Did you not have enough of it before? No.
And I think that's something that nobody will ever have enough of it, because it's a slippery slope. You tend to start taking things for granted every second, and it's very challenging to be grateful every second of life, like, you know. But it's also one thing that we have to keep in the forefront of our head, like, don't forget about this.
So tell us, you just finished your 3rd session of ayahuasca.
Yeah, this was the best one.
Talk to us. What was the process like?
Well, arrived, say hello to the shaman once again.
Same shaman as before?
Yeah, same one.
You guys are buddies at this point. You guys know each other.
Yeah.
Family pictures, Christmas parties.
No. There's no pictures. There's no. I did ask her, like, if in a future when I make an interview with you, and she said, like, not a chance. I guess, you know.
Spiritual citizen, spiritual. You know.
Yeah, exactly. She's more in the other side than here, so no, don't bother her.
So what happened? Tell us.
Well, after you first sit down with her, you have about 45 minutes, an hour conversation. She wants to feel where your intentions are, like what are you seeking, because if the trip starts going to a direction that it shouldn't, she needs to guide you and try to keep you where you have to stay.
What does that mean then?
Well, like I said, of doing it in group, like imagine that you start getting too distracted with something, and sometimes she asks you a question, like she suggests something, and it's that's a whole art, science. I don't know, like they know how to tip,
nudge you back to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Without being, imagine like you're a deer and they don't scare the deer. They know how to guide it without you running away like a crazy.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're talking to the shaman and then.
Then get to it. We get to the, it's a backyard what she has, with a whole ceremony setting, bunch of indigenous art, bunch of Hebrew languages, sayings, a lot of Hindi stuff. Like the place feels sacred. Like you feel safe. You feel like, okay, this is a portal to travel to God,
right.
For real. So you sit down there. She gives you one shot of it. Take it. Then she starts singing the Icaros. It's the name of the type of songs they do in shamanic rituals. She starts singing a few of those. Burn some herbs. Stands over you and do some prayers. In that moment, you start getting the stomach starts getting sick. You start getting dizzy, nauseous, and in that moment she comes with shot number 2. Shot number 2 now smells like hell. Smells horrible. This didn't happen neither in trip 1 or 2. All the flavor of the ayahuasca in the first trip was always steady. So, as soon as I feel so much repulsion for it, I ask, like, what's happening? Why I'm getting so disgusted out of it? And she says, because your ego is afraid of what's to come. She knows me, and when somebody tells me you're afraid of something, like I go kawabunga on it. And I was like, oh really? Clang! The whole thing. Look, not even like a microsecond, I'm violently puking the bucket she gives you, like propulsion. Yeah. It's not as bad as you all guys are gonna think. I was like super afraid of throwing up like so crazy, but it's not that bad. I promise you. And it's totally worth it, so get over it.
So what do you say?
Well, after that one, a solid 20 minutes and nothing is happening. I'm just sitting there meditating, no visual, no nothing, nothing. I'm still here. And she comes with a third shot. And the third shot, it was the one who, brought it home. After taking the third shot, I kind of like laid down. I started to feel more tired. I lay down, getting comfortable, closing my eyes, and I started feeling a cold sensation in my arms. My head, my face started getting tingling, and I thought they're like, oh boy, here we go. And then she has a very beautiful cat that comes, and the cat, laid on my chest. And she starts, getting comfortable and doing me a little massage in the chest, but just, she was treating me like a bed, so she was getting comfortable in there. And, I didn't bother myself in nothing. I was just laying there, eyes closed. I felt the cat coming, but I never opened my eyes to see her. Open my eyes, and the cat looks like like covered in snow. And it's like, I didn't remember you this way. Blink, the cat is now a gray alien.
Wow.
And it's looking, and it's mirroring my movement, my head movement. Like I went like this, like what? And the alien is like, what? I stared at the little alien for a little bit, blink again, and the alien has turned into the Sphinx of Egypt. And I'm in Egypt.
You're in Egypt? Like present-day Egypt? Or
No, like back when it was good stuff. Yeah, no, it was the place was thriving. Like the temples were popping, a bunch of people were walking.
Could you smell Egypt? Could you feel Egypt?
In the moment, yeah, but if you ask me like now, I don't know. The curious thing is that the Sphinx was alive and it was walking next to me, but nobody was bothering about it. It was like normal. Yeah, that's interesting. Like there's a fucking cat with human hair. Like, what? There's a cat with human hair next to me and nobody's bothering? Okay. We walk. We get to a temple. Inside the temple there was a woman in the middle of a ritual-like stone. And a priest, I'm saying a priest, but I don't know how they were called back then. It was like a priest. Is performing some kind of ritual on her. The ritual involved fire, water.
From the ritual on who? Somebody random?
I don't know, man. Like, eventually this vision is gonna make sense whenever the moment gets revealed. But right now, I just saw a movie about Egypt, and that's what happened. And let's say that lasted probably the first half an hour, and then the Sphinx asked me, "Are you ready?" And I asked back, "Ready for what?" And in that moment, I felt like I was strapped to the back of a rocket, and I got, and a visual started to happen. Like, the middle of the visual was black, and everything surrounding it was purple, like a galaxy-like, and it starts getting faster, like a Star Wars when it's about to jump. And that was the only moment I got scared, because it was a feeling like I got tense, like, yeah, and that's what I say, like I was getting, sky
taken.
Yeah, I was getting taken in a very violent way. But I don't know, it didn't last so long, but I remember there something that I tell myself inside a trip: breathe how you want to feel. And I started calming my breath. I arrived to a beautiful light place. And in that moment, I start feeling like I'm melting. Like, my skin starting to blend with the floor. And the storyteller in the head starts getting quieter. And I got it again, the ego death. Target acquired.
Okay.
If you tell me it lasted a year or it lasted 3 seconds, truly it doesn't matter, but it felt once again like a lifetime in the light. Amazing. Like, nothing that you can feel in, let's say, in your human form. You can put a word to that feeling, for real. You have to experience it. If it's with a psychedelic, if it's with extremely deep meditation, near-death experience, I don't know, but that's something that whatever I tell the camera is not going to come even close to it.
Do you miss that feeling? Do you miss it at all?
Oh yeah, if you allow yourself, you can get depressed like, fuck my life, I'm not there anymore. Yeah, if you allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole, yes. And while that was happening, I was jumping from beautiful light galaxy places that they had stars with Mayan symbols and like walls of Hebrew writings about everything happening very dynamic in an extremely beautiful way. Like, fuck, of course I want to stay there longer, but you can't. You're not allowed yet.
You mentioned each trip you learned something.
Yeah.
Did you realize what this last trip wanted to teach you, or are you still trying to figure that out?
Well, I think this video is part of what I got there. Like, I don't know. The more I have done research, reading about it, the more I see people getting curious about it, and share my experience. I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but this is what have done to me. So, if anything of this likes to anybody, you can do your own research and try it.
Tell me something.
But because I guess the teaching of this one is that we all need to experience God. Point blank, the end. I don't care how it is. If it's gonna be with a plant medicine, if you're gonna lock yourself with in a chapel and pray. If you're gonna dive into deep caves, jump with no parachute, whatever. I think everyone needs to feel that. For whatever avenue you choose to take. Or not.
You found God, you feel?
It feels that way.
Do you feel at peace with yourself?
Yeah.
More than before?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for you?
Study more. Yeah.
Somebody asked you, what is the difference between DMT, ayahuasca, and shrooms?
Well, DMT, the smoked version, it only lasts about 15 seconds. 15 minutes. 15 minutes or 7 minutes, around there. Is basically the ayahuasca in a Ferrari. Like, you're gonna have all the visuals and the feeling with God and everything, but it's gonna be super fast. Ayahuasca is the same, but it's gonna take 5 hours. And shrooms, I got a very similar experience, to be honest. The shrooms was more visually active, I'm gonna say, but again, the setting I was in the shrooms was pretty intense. The house of orangutan is it's like a amusement park. So I don't know, and I was walking around, I was jumping, you know. My ayahuasca sessions I've been laying in meditative state.
How many more ceremonies do you want to do? And then do you see these ceremonies as part of your self-care routine now?
I do see them as a part of a self-care routine, and I guess every time you start getting a little too in your head that you are too important, because they show you how immense the universe is and how little we are. They show you like how unimportant we are in this world, and at the same time how important we are.
Can you explain that?
One, it gives you feel the connection with everything. Like it shows you how your thoughts, movement, words are affecting every matter around. So that's showing you how important you are. But at the same time, it shows you it is so big that if you die, it's not like you're gonna disturb the universe, you know? So you're taking yourself too seriously.
Right.
You're giving your problems too much power. Like the whole thing, that's power. But you're feeling, experiencing, it's silly shit. So get over yourself.
You said something interesting. You said the way your words affect matter.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The visuals you're having and what you feel towards the visuals, they change depending on what you're thinking.
Right.
If you think angry shit, they get if you think beautiful things, they get, you know, beautiful.
Is that everyday life, or is it specifically throughout the sessions? Like, I believe that my thoughts affect my reality. Is that true?
100%. You have a visual and sensorial proof of that is a fact. Like your thoughts are creating and affecting reality. You see it.
So do you think that's a big thing, that a big issue with people is that just when they speak about themselves, when they speak about the world, are they themselves the problem, the source of their own problems?
100%.
Yeah.
But that's judging your present with the lens of the past. Like at the end, there's a certain amount of information we have, and we use it to, judge our reality. If you're choosing to always see in your past the trauma, like somebody that are phenomenal, and at this one are fucking women. Every time they meet a man, babe, my ex was like, and they whiny shit. That's the best example I can give you of judging the present by the past.
Do you think that they're, okay, so are they evoking a repetition of their past?
Exactly. Exactly. They keep the trauma in the forefront so much that if it's the only you think about, it's the only you speak about, what the fuck you think are you gonna get?
What do you think about the sort of like the new era, the idea of like vibrations, and the idea that as a group of people we are all vibrating on a specific level, and then we just have to elevate ourselves? Like, do you think there's anything?
I believe in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I believe in that.
Why?
Well, because it doesn't make sense to you, assuming that, knowing that for a fact a thought and an emotion is affecting your matter and your reality around. Imagine if 1,000 people are in the same room, all in the same page, in love for the present moment.
How do you get that? How do you?
Well, let's put shrooms in